Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be revisiting Boa Hancock. That's right, revisiting, because I actually have covered this leader in the past about 2 months ago. At the time we were recording this video, I think it's been about 2 months since I last checked in on this leader to see how they're doing. And I will link that video in the comment section below for anyone who's interested. But guys, I have an idea. I'm kind of giving it away in this thumbnail or in this little screen here, where I think I want to build Boa as more of like this removal tempo. And don't worry, we'll get more into this when we get into the video. But I want to try to take this leader in a slightly different direction than what we've seen, previously. It has been doing decent, in the current iterations we're going to look at today. But I think there's another direction that we could try, and that might have a little more potential. We'll have to see. Only time will tell, play testing, and all that good stuff. So let me give you guys a quick layout for today's video, because we do have a lot to go over. First up, we are going to be checking out 3 new spoilers from OP09. Okay, and don't worry, I'll have everything timestamped in the the general description, where you can just skip around wherever you want to in the video. Then we will go over another community gameplay review, and this one's going to be between Lucci and Queen, Lucci and Blue Yellow Queen. Then after that, we will go over to we'll take a look at the Boa Hancock meta currently in the West and the East, in OP07 and OP08, and kind of see which direction the deck is trending, and then we'll elaborate more when we get to that. Then we'll do 3 games on the sim. Okay, we only got 3 games today, guys, because we do have a lot to go over. Then we'll break down the deck that I'm running. I'll give you guys my full thoughts on why I'm running, what I'm running, and then we'll finish off with an art critique. Okay, so you know what you're getting into, guys. Let's do this. Let's dive straight in. The first thing we have to cover is the spoilers. So, spoiler warning, if you don't want to see anything from OP09, now is your chance to back out. And like I said, I'll have everything timestamped. You can skip to where you want to. Okay, so last warning. Here we go. All right, first up is Nico. Wait, let me put it in full screen mode. Can y'all see that good? Yeah, cool. All right, guys, first up here, check out this 2K counter. This is Nico Olvia. It is a yellow character, 1 cost, 0 power, so obviously it's meant for utility, especially with it being a 2K counter. Its O'Hara is the type, which is pretty new, right? I can't recall any other O'Hara or O'Hara characters currently in the game. Okay, on play, check this out, guys. Give up to one of your leader Nico Robins power plus 3,000 for the turn. And for those who do not remember, the new Nico Robin leader is a purple-yellow leader with 5,000 power for life, but has banish built into it. So playing this card out for 1 and then buffing your Nico Robin plus 3, not exactly bad, right? And then who knows, later in the game, maybe you can put this back into your life with other effects. We'll have to see what kind of support Nico Robin gets, but even with support that we know already exists, support that already exists, that was hard to say, we can still put this in our life with something like a Katakuri if we need to. Katakuri is very strong. Okay, and then the trigger, if your leader is Nico Robin, okay, so they leader locked it. This whole card is basically leader locked, right? Draw 3 and trash 2. So that trigger there, so imagine, like I said, I don't know, maybe on a 10 Dawn turn. I'm just going to give an example of a 10 Dawn play. I'm not saying you should do this. Everything's always situational. But imagine you're on a 10 Dawn turn, and you go, okay, I'm going to play out this character, right? And give my Nico Robin plus 3,000 for the turn, and then I'm going to attach 1 Dawn to Nico Robin as well, so I've only used 2 Dawn, and I'm going to swing for 9 with Banish, 9,000 power with Banish, and then to follow up, I'm going to play out a Katakuri, and I'm going to pop this card to the top of my life, top or bottom of my life. I can't remember if I think Katakuri can choose either. Yeah, Katakuri can choose either one. So I'll put this to the bottom of my life, so that way I can do a draw 3 trash 2 after I see what else was coming. So this card, excellent. Very excited to get my hands on this whenever it comes out in OP09. This card is very strong. Okay, next card. Now we got a young version of, this is an event card. And by the way, if y'all didn't see that, guys, this card is yellow. All right, notice up here at the top, this is a yellow card, even though it's in black and white. All right, next up, we got this it's a picture of Robin on here, right, when she's young, I believe, and Saul. Jaguar D. Saul, I think his name is. But check this out, guys. This is a yellow event called Dureshi. Main. Look at the top. It costs 3, guys. Sorry, I didn't give you the cost. It costs 3, and this is another O'Hara type card. Main. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Okay. Reveal up to 2 cards with triggers other than Dureshi, and add them to your hand. then return the rest to the bottom of your deck in any order, and then trigger draw a card. So that main, guys, that costs 3, but it does potentially draw 2. And you're searching the top 5 for these 2 you want. They just have to be cards with triggers on them, and it cannot be this card. So this card, again, outstanding, just like the last one we saw. It looks like Robin's getting some pretty decent support. We'll have to see how things, continue to develop as we see more and more OP09 cards. But that effect, guys, 3 costs to draw 2, and you get it's like a pay 3, top 5 search, and draw 2 out of those. That's kind of how this is worded if you think about it, because you're going to build your deck full of triggers in a situation like this. Really, really powerful effect there. We'll have to see how this goes. And of course, guys, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Okay, then we got, okay, yeah, so I thought that was him. Check that out. This is the same guy here, but this is an actual character for Jaguar D. Saul. Okay, and this is a 3-cost, 5,000 power character with no counter, and he is a O'Hara Giants Navy type. Sorry, guys, I had to clean off the glasses there. They're a little smudged. And this is a blocker. So 3-cost, 5K blocker is a weird stat line, to be completely honest. That's not something I feel like we see very often. But the trigger is if your leader is Nico Robin, play this card. Wow. Very, very solid. Now, this is even more limited than something like, say, what's it called? Kikanojo, the 4-cost 6K that plays if your opponent has 3 or less life. But it's also more practical in the deck that it's restricted to. So I do like how this card is presented. I'm a big, big fan of this card. 3-cost, 5,000 power blocker with trigger, play this card if you're playing Nico Robin. This is an outstanding card. The only thing it's missing, like legitimately, the only thing this card is missing is a counter. And with an effect like this and its blocker, and it only costs 3 for a 5K body, I think we're going to be able to get over the fact that it doesn't have a blocker, a counter. So really good stuff there. Okay, well that was it for the spoilers. Nothing too crazy, but I'll tell you what, these were some excellent cards that we saw today, guys. A very big fan of these. I think it looks like Nico Robin's going to be getting some very solid support. Okay, now, which one are we on? Here we go. Now, let's check out. Let me go ahead and put on the black screen here and get this game prepared for y'all. We got another game from the community, and that list is getting long, guys, so definitely, hop on there as soon as you can. Where's my face cam at? There we go. Got to move this over here. I have to make different overlays for each one of these videos because everyone uses different resolution, whether they're using their phone, whether they're using, a monitor, whether they're using Mac, Windows, you name it, all these different resolutions and stuff. So I'm going to have a bunch of different overlays, but hey, it's worth it. This is fun, and I can make these overlays pretty quickly. All right, so here we go, guys. This is the first game. The volume is off. The speed is on. Now it's on 2x. It was not. And the quality's up to 1080. Let's do this. Let's check it out, guys. So right away, we got a game of Lucci versus Queen. So let me go ahead and fast forward a little bit to see who picks to go first. And it looks like Queen is going to go first. And that's probably that might be the right call. I know Lucci wants to go second, especially if you're running the stage. But I think Queen actually does want to go first, the more I think about it, especially these new versions where you're somewhat more aggressive. The odd curve does help them out a little bit, but that's okay. The even curve helps out Lucci a lot. So, but unfortunately, our player here did not get the stage in their opening hand. Now, one thing I do want to check is let's see what they had in there before they mulliganed. And they knew they were going second. So let me see. I think... yeah, I would have probably mulliganed this as well. This is not a great hand. And this hand's probably slightly better, but not much better either, to be honest. Okay, now let's keep going with the game. Queen passes on turn 1. Pass on turn 1 for Lucci, no stage, like I said. Queen is going to go ahead and swing for 5, so threatening a 3-dawn play here, maybe a Doflamingo or something. Takes it. Yep, that is a very standard play in Queen. But playing it this early is not what I would... okay, I know... I don't know who the player on the top is. I know the player is on the bottom. But just speaking directly to the Queen player in this specific instance, if you're a Queen player, playing out Doflamingo this early in the game is not necessarily a great idea because, yeah, sure, he can act as a blocker or even help swing on the next turn. But number 1, against Lucci, he might get removed. And number 2, doing his effect this early in the game will probably not allow you to set up properly unless you have another effect in hand. And this guy might. I have no idea. He might have another effect in hand to help him search for later in the game when he needs to set up his top lifeguards. Okay, so back to it. So right here we gotta okay, of course they draw the stage after everything happened. So swing for 7 at leader, -1 to the Doflamingo, trashing a Kaku and a Gecko Moria, and establishing the stage. That was a good turn to catch up. That was actually fine. I really liked that. Yeah, that was like a, okay, bring out the chess meter, guys. Where is the accuracy meter? That was what I would, given the board state, given your hand, I think that was probably the best play in that situation. I think that was dead on. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so he goes ahead and swings for 7. And what did we counter out with? We countered out with a Suru and a Brook. Okay, that's not the worst thing in the world. I think it's fine to keep your, because, okay, actually, that's a very good thing to counter out of this early game against any deck running blue, because what if they had Pudding in hand? You know what I mean? Going down to 5 cards, that was absolutely fine. Okay, playing around Pudding, excellent play. All right, let's see. Now, we are stacked on blockers. And as usual, guys, when it comes to these community review video reviews, I don't have the deck list in front of me. I have no idea what all to expect from the deck list. Okay, so we're going to swing for 7 into 5, -1 to the Doffy. That's the right call there, because if they wanted to block, it would, of course, be with Boa Hancock. Now, right here, go ahead and snag back. Was it a 2K counter we got back, or was there nothing we could get back? Hang on, playing out the Rebecca. I'm sorry, guys, I do have to see something. Yep, so play out the Rebecca, snag back the Brook, and play the Brook. Gotcha. Okay, that was perfect. And that's a nice thing about the Brook and Rebecca interaction. That was less than ideal. One of the nice things about the Rebecca and Brook interactions is you can actually counter out early all you want to. It doesn't matter, because when you play out the Brook, when you play out the Rebecca, your Brook's in the safest place, right, in the trash. So you can just pull them right out of there and throw them into play. That was excellent. Now, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger on curve is a less than ideal situation, and like I said, that probably also contributes to the fact of to the idea that Queen wants to go first. Okay, swinging 5 here, I would consider taking this as well. The other option would have been to countering out with the Sabo, to be honest, the 5-call Sabo, since you have 2 of them. I think that would have been fine, because later in the game, if you need it, you'd be able to get it back with with the future Rebeccas. Okay, 8 Dawn turn here. I have not seen this video, so let's talk about what should happen here, or some possibilities. Okay, so we have to take everything into consideration. Queen is about to be on their 9 Dawn turn, so they're probably going to play out a, what's his name, the 9-cost dude, Mihawk. They might play out a Mihawk. They might have a Sanji. I mean, especially if they can remember what they played with Doffy, if they had a perfect transition from that turn 2 Doffy or whatever it was. I think they should still be able to play out something from, like Sanji from hand, and perfectly predict what it will be from the top of their deck. So with that in mind, I think in this situation, I would probably just plop down a Gecko Moria, even if it is for low value. Now, I don't know what all is in the trash, but that's kind of what comes to my mind immediately here. Now, let's see what our player does. And there's way more than one play here. Playing out a Sabo, swinging for 8. And seeing what you get from the Sabo in case you got another play. Fixes the hand a little bit, fills up the trash, and there we go. Now, like I said, I do kind of like the idea of just like going really big here by playing out the Moria. And let's see if we can see his trash real quick, because he clicked on it. Boom. Okay. So the cards he got from the top of his, from that attack there was the Kaku and the Sabo. And then he trashed a Stage and a Lucci to go to this point. So, okay, unfortunately, yeah, it would have been a super, super low value Gecko Moria. Could have only gotten back a Suru and a Helmeppo, and that is not what we wanted. So I think going with the Sabo play here, definitely the way to go. Especially, like I said, after seeing the trash, that allows me to make a much better decision. Okay, so let's see what happens. Or even just hard playing the Sabo. I have to say one more play. Sorry, guys, and we'll keep going. Hard playing Sabo was also not a horrible idea in this situation. Okay. There's the Mihawk, exactly as we expected. We knew that was coming. That's okay, though. We have another Sabo in hand. I would counter out of this personally. Yeah. Let's see what they do, though. You don't have to. You can play this in what I would consider to be a little more greedy of a play. They take it, okay, and they get a Spandam. So kind of rewarded, right? Did they get the Spandam? I think they moved the Kaku over when they drew it for the turn. So they got a Spandam. They're going to be able to do some searching and some fixing here. How do we get rid of this Mihawk? It's actually, we can very easily get rid of it, right? What's his name? Pause. So Sabo can hit a 5 and a 3. So we can hit an 8 with what's on the board. So maybe we can't actually get it easily. I would probably search first with the Spandam to see if we can get the event, the Tempest Kick and go about it that way. Because we're going to have 2 extra Dawn pretty much no matter how we do this turn, whether we're playing a Gecko out this turn or a Sabo. Now, another option is we could go about it the... Could we actually get... Let me see something. If we play out the Helmeppo, so -3 from the attack in our stage puts him at 6, and then down to 3. So no, there's really no like really beautiful way to do this. But he's looks like he's thinking about playing out the Kaku here, because that is a -3 by returning, is it 2 CP cards to the bottom of your deck, or 3? I can't remember. Okay, let's see what he does here. Gonna play out the Khalifa. Okay, gonna draw 2 trash 2. And look at that, guys. Real quick, I just want to say something. If we had done the Spandam, notice what the top 2 cards were. There would have been a third option as well if we did Spandam. Tempest Kick was one of them. And I do think that was just the best play, hands down, fills up the trash. And then here, you know what the worst case scenario is, guys? Hang on a second. I know how Lucci players think. I play a lot of Lucci. I play a lot of decks that are black. You don't have to remove a character every single turn. There is a situation where we don't have to remove this Mihawk. But yes, we want to if we can. If it makes sense to do it, we should. But in that situation, we had 10 Dawn. Playing out the Spandam would have showed us a Kaku, a Tempest Kick. And by the way, that would have been an even better play, guys. Potentially just going with the Kaku there to establish it in that way. Because we could get, hang on, let me do the math real quick. 3 plus 3 on the board is 6. We'd have to get 3 more. I don't know. That'd make it a little bit sloppy. Anyway, back to the original play. Spandam, grab the Tempest Kick, play out the Sabo there, and just pop this card and move on with your day. Or you could establish the Gecko more in some bodies, whichever one you would have chosen from there. Okay, so we chose the good play here. Like I said, if we're going back to the chess meter, then we chose what I would consider to be just like the... whoops. This would have just been a good play. Whereas, like, searching first... You can still go with this play if you need to. You know what I mean? Using out the Spandam, even if you didn't hit a Tempest Kick, you could have gone about it that way and changed everything. Now, hang on. Now, one thing I do need to think about here. So, if you were going to do the draw 2, trash 2, why not keep the Kaku? Hang on. Why not keep the Kaku in this situation and the Tempest Kick and just get rid of the Spandam now and maybe the Lucci? Because then you could do 3 on board, 3 from the Tempest Kick, and 3 from the Kaku to pop this 9 cost. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he can get -3 from attacking with his leader and -2, from the stage and the leader interaction. That would drop the Mihawk down to 6. The Tempest Kick will drop him down to 3, and then the Kaku can pop him at that rate. Very, very interesting line of play there on the choices for the Khalifa. Not a bad thing. I'm just kind of giving some other ideas here. So let's see what they choose. They get rid of the Kaku, and I didn't see the other one. Sorry, guys. I have to see the Spandam. Okay, so the Spandam and the Kaku. All right, now -2 on the Mihawk. Let's see what they choose to do. We're going to swing for 6 into face, -1 to the Mihawk. They are now down to 6. We're going to drop them down to 4 with the stage, and now we're going to be able to -3 with the Tempest Kick. Okay, actually, we're just going to let him survive. Okay, and that's another option, too. Like I said, we don't have to remove the Mihawk. Do y'all see how many different lines of play there were in that one play there? There probably was what was considered to be the best play, which I think, honestly, like I said, in my head, I think the best play was just developing the Spandam and seeing what options you have from there. Always see what options you have first before you go through the line of play. Like, don't draw last. Try to draw first if it's possible. Swinging in for 9, and then there's going to be another 9. This is a very scary situation here. 2K, 2K. Okay, I'll say if he's smart, he'll attack the Sabo. He does. And now we're in a less than ideal situation. Now, we are in a less than ideal situation now, but those blockers don't mean much. They really only have 2 real attacks, 1 from the leader, 1 from the, what's his name, the Mihawk. So 5 into 5 here. Honestly, they're probably going to want to take this. And then 5 here, minus to that. Maybe block with, I would probably block with the one that is, that is tapped down there. Y'all give me just 1 second, guys. I got to turn this phone off. Okay. So I would have, okay, so they ended up, I'm sorry, what just happened? My phone rang. I had to turn that off. So did they take the hit? That's what I'm trying to see. So we swung for 5 here. They used a counter. Okay, that makes sense, too, to go down to the proper amount of cards in hand to actually, start using Queen's Effect. Right here, we have a really nice way to get rid of the Mihawk, playing out the Spandine. So a lot just happened there. Gecko Moria pulls back Rebecca and Helmeppo. Helmeppo's activation is chosen first, or the on-play effect is chosen first. -3 to the, what's his name, the Mihawk. We did -3 already, one from the leader, 2 from the stage. Rebecca effect then goes off, pulling out the Spandine. Spandine's going to pull 3 cards back from the trash to the bottom of the deck to play out the Lucci. Lucci's going to put 3 cards back to the bottom of the deck, and he's going to be able to pop both of these characters. Very nice. And he started off with a Tempest Kick, I believe. So really, really good stuff there. All right, let's see what happens. And like I said, gets rid of that. And now we have a very good board. Now we're back in the driver's seat of this game. They popped the Helmeppo. We're not worried about that, right? That's not something to worry about. 6 into 4, I'd just let it go. Looks like we were thinking about countering. Looks like we're thinking about blocking. Blocking, I could see doing, but I'm not sure what they're looking at in the hand here. Maybe they're saying that they're trying to do some math right now to see how they can pop the Yamato and the Boa next turn, I think. Using the blocker's fine. I think that's actually a good spot, just in case he decides to, like, you know, gravity blade it or something to go for lethal in a future turn. Okay, so swing for 5 here, -1 to the Yamato. That's definitely the correct idea there. Okay, and then -2. Okay, we're going to do some swinging first, looks like. So, actually, hang on. So, all right, so -2, because they replaced the stage. Still have 8 Dawn left to work with, and now they have a 4 cost and a 3 cost on the board. Here we go. Very nice. Now it's going to be our chance to play. Yeah, get rid of the Lucci, in my opinion. I'd keep the counters in hand, personally. Yeah. If they don't choose the Lucci, I think there was a better choice, but they can choose what they want to, what they think they can win with. But I can tell you what, after that Gecko Moria play, now we're in a very good position. Okay, swing for 6. We popped the board like we said there. We have 2 9K bodies on the board. And now what does our opponent have? What can they possibly do in this situation? Okay. Yeah, I would swing here. If there was a question on whether or not you should have swung there, it's like, should I give him a card? I think it's completely fine, especially since it's your last attack of the turn. 6, that's why we keep the counter power. Absolutely counter with a 1K. And this game, unless they have some absolutely insane triggers, this game is completely over. Yeah, you go for broke here, I think. I think you load up all 7s that you can, so I'd have gone 3. So I would have gone 3 on the Khalifa, personally, to go 7 at face, because if they can counter out, they can counter out, whatever. Okay, then going 9. Then going 9. So let me just say what I would have done real quick, guys. I would have gone 7, 7, 7 with the 3 smaller bodies plus the leader, and then I would have gone 9 plus with the big boys. But this works too. This works as well. Let's see what they do. So I like how they have on theirs. Do you really want to attach such and such Dawn? I forgot to put down the accuracy meter. Sorry, guys. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got lined up. Swing for 9. Yep. I doubt they're going to be able to counter out of this. And if they do counter out, it doesn't matter. And then we just go all in here. Absolutely. Swing for whatever the... yeah, that works. That works too, of course. And now swing for the 14. GG. There's no way out of it. Even if all the 4 remaining cards were 2K counters, that's that. Okay. Good stuff. Whoops. What did I hit? Let me go back and pause. All right. That was fun, guys. That was a good one. Now let's go ahead and move on. We still got a lot more to talk about. Let me move my head over here. Get this off the screen. Now we have to talk about the meta. Okay, we got to talk about the meta. Where's the screen? There we go. Oh, forgot to move off the... there we go. So much going on now, guys. Don't worry. I'll get used to it eventually. It'll start looking a lot cleaner as I get more and more used to it. All right, so first we're going to check out OP07 meta for the West. That's what we're going to look at first, and we're just going to we're going to breeze through these guys. I'll talk about the leader and into the first list, and then we're just going to blast through these because I want to check out the West and the East. So first off, the leader. This is a 5,000 power, 5 life leader, monocolored, blue. Your turn, once per turn, you may activate this when a character leaves play from one of your abilities, and if you have 5 or less cards in hand, you can draw a card. Okay? I had my issues with this effect when I first saw it. A lot of people were very upset with me with my ratings. I think I gave this a 5 out of 10 for a leader effect. But the fact that you have a limitation on drawing a card, you know, depending on how many cards you have in your hand, that's what frustrates me. I wish it was just whenever you remove a character from play, and they could balance it by taking off how open that effect is. By making, you may activate you may activate this when a character leaves play from one of your abilities. I feel like it should say you may activate this when an opponent's character leaves play from one of your abilities. I understand there's more utility the other way around, but then having this restriction on the end of if you have 5 or less cards in hand, draw a card. Get rid of that. Get rid of the 5 or less cards in hand thing, and let us draw a card and let us only move other characters off the board. Okay, but that's all right. It is what it is. We have what we have here. We got to work with what we have, with what we have to work with. So, I think we should be taking as much advantage of this effect as possible. So let's get down to 5 cards in our hand, you know, as much as we can, countering out early and whatnot, and then just remove cards every single turn. That's what I think we should do. I'm going to blast through this card list here, and we're going to talk about it, and then we'll move on through all the others as well. So this list is running 4 Gecko Moria, 4 Doflamingo, 4 Kaya, 3 Kaido, 1 of the, well, 3 of the bounce Kaido, 1 of the draw 4 Kaido, 2 of the 2K counter puddings. This is actually very strong with the leader effect. I'll talk about it real quick. Activate main, return this character to the owner's hand. So you can play it out for 2 and then remove a character with your leader's effect, and you'll have less cards in hand. You see what's going on there? And then activate main, bounce it back at the end of, actually, you can literally just activate the leader effect with this card by itself if you have like 6 cards in hand and this is one of them. Play this out for 2, return it back to your hand, and draw a card, right? Or actually, I guess you would have to have 5 cards in hand because it's coming back to your hand. I don't know the exact ordering of that, but I think you have to have 5 in hand. Anyway, y'all see what I'm saying? I don't know if this can be the 5th card in hand or the 6th card, depending on the timing of the interactions. I think it has to go back to your hand first, and then you the character left play, and it's back to your hand. Yeah, so sorry. So if you have 5 cards in hand, then you can do this effect, I believe. Or if you have 6 cards in hand, you can play this card out, and then remove another character from the board, and then pull this card back. There's a lot of different interactions there. I think this is a good card, and I wish I had messed with it more. It was something I did not mess with in my testing that we're going to look at today. This is an excellent, excellent card with Boa Hancock. Okay, then we got 4 puddings, 2 Edward Weevil. A lot of lists are not running this, and I was running this at first, but I have to say, I don't think it's a great idea to run it because you're just drawing too many cards, and now you're not able to use your leader effect. Unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. That's just how it goes, right? That is just how it goes. Okay, 4 Crocodile, 2K counter, 4 Jinbei, 4 Sengoku, 4 Trafalgar Law, 2K counter, 4 Boa Hancock, 2 Red Rocks, and 4 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. Now, this is a very standard list, and like I said, I do talk a lot about this in my original video that I put out on Boa Hancock, which will be linked in the comment section below if you want to see that. But overall, this is very straightforward here, nothing too crazy to look at, and this is kind of how the list runs. Now, that was the first list. Let's go to the next one. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. We're just going to kind of look. Sometimes you will see this 2K counter go up, you know, in the deck, the Dracula Mihawk 4 cost 5K 2K counter. And I actually like this one a lot because if this thing sticks for a turn, and I know that sounds like, yeah, but they're going to remove it. Not always, guys, because sometimes you're just plopping down like Jinbei and throwing out another, 2K counter 4 cost 5K. And I like this option better in a lot of situations than the Trafalgar Law. I understand this one makes your opponent bottom deck one of the cards from their hand if they have 6 or more cards in their hand when you use it. But I like having this, but it comes back to your hand though. So so does this card. You know what I mean? Like this card comes back to your hand, and then one of the cards from your opponent's hand goes to the bottom of the deck. I would rather keep a body on the board though, right? That's like the whole point of Jinbei is filling out the board. And I personally, I like Crocodile because he's a 4 cost 5K, and I really like Mihawk because he's a 4 cost 5K with a very relevant when attacking effect. Crocodile's effect is okay, but I'm going to be honest, guys. If you're not playing like turn 2 Jinbei, it starts losing value. It's never worthless, but it starts losing a lot of value the later on into the game you go. Especially the direction that I want to take the list, which we'll talk about later. I'm trying to get tempo. It's running the puddings, guys. This card is just so good. Almost every blue deck should run this card. It's like with black decks running Gecko Moria or Rebecca. Rebecca's probably a more accurate example. Almost all black decks run Rebecca for a reason. The card's so good. Not all of them run it, but a lot of them do. Same thing with Charlotte Pudding. If you can fit it in the deck, then you need to run it. It's just that good. It has that much utility. It's a 1K counter at worst, and it's trashing your opponent's hand, you know, against a lot of matchups. That is a very strong effect. Okay, then Boa Hancock, we know what this does. Like I said, this card is just so good, and then everything else is pretty much the same. Now, this card, Gum Gum Rain, I can't remember if it was in the first one or not anymore, but this card is extremely important for what we're doing with our leader effect. Number one, we do run a decent amount of bricks. We're running 4 Boa Hancocks, 3 Kaidos, 2 of the other Kaido. That's a lot of cards that can just be bricks in hand. That's 9 cards. And same thing with these events are bricks if you're not using them, right? And sometimes you don't have the opportunity to use them. So we have 4, 5 is 9, plus 7. That's 16 bricks, guys. 16 bricks. These Gum Gum Rains are money in this deck, guys. These cards are absolutely gas, like those events are. Okay, now let's look at one more list. Like I said, they're all pretty much the same. Each one is just a little bit different than the other. Like, see, this one's running the Edward Weevil that can do a top 3 arrange, like top of deck arrangement. Dawn times 1 when attacking. 4 cost 5k, 1k counter, solid. Everything else is the same. Sengoku, for those who are not aware, or if you can't remember what it does, it's a top 5/7 Warlord Searcher. So it can snag, you know, Boa. Now, the thing about Jinbei is they can only cheat out a 4 cost or lower 7 Warlords of the Sea character. But Sengoku can still search up any 7 Warlords of the Sea character. So it can snag Jinbeis, it can snag Boas, it can snag whatever you want. 7 Warlords, of course. And then everything else is pretty much dead on, guys. Notice how similar these lists are. I'm going to be taking the deck in a different direction, guys. Wait till we get to the sim. Okay, now let's go over to OP08. This is in the East. This is the Eastern meta. We'll check this one out last because this is probably the best one. But this got 2nd place at a flagship, this one that we're about to look at now. And guys, looks the exact same, right? It looks the exact same, and this is a 50 card list, so maybe 1 card is off. Maybe they're missing 1 card, like a Perfume Femur or a Gum Rain, something like that. 1 card is missing from this list. I don't know what it is. It just says 50 cards. It should say 51 because it does count the leader. Okay, but other than that, guys, check this out. This one's not running the Bounce Kaido. It's just running straight up 4 of the big Kaido, or excuse me, of the Draw 4 Kaido. It's got a lot of these. You know, it's got 4 Gravity Blades, 4 Red Rocks. The Red Rocks are just good against everything right now because every deck, if you're playing black, you're going to have Geckos, Sabos, Stussies, Ishos. If you're playing against yellow, they're going to have all of those huge characters. Katakuri, Yamato, and 10 cost Ace, or even Lin if you're going against a deck that's Big Mom Pirates. Green's going to have Zoro. It's going to have 8 cost Kid. Purple's going to have something too, I promise, right? Like, they all have the potential to have these huge cards. There are some huge characters in the game. If you're going against blue, we already know. We're running one of the cards, right? So this Red Rock actually has so much value in OP08. It has value in OP07 as well. But in OP08, it does seem like the format has slowed down to some extent. And I think this card is very good. Now, I honestly don't know if it's worth running as a 4 of, because this card is not very good against the best deck in the format, which is Red Purple Law. Most people would consider Red Purple Law the best deck in the format. Against black, it's okay, because black is a little bit slower than Red Purple currently. But other than that's where the Gravity Blade Raging Tigers come in. They're like, this card is just always good, right? There's only a few times where this card's just not good. But overall, good stuff there. Now, let's look at the last list. This is the most accomplished Boa Hancock list. This got top 16 in a regional level tournament, basically the Bandai, one of the big Bandai tournaments in Japan. And this is OP08, guys. Check this out. They're running 3 of the Bounce Kaido, 1 of the Draw 4 Kaido, and then everything else we've already seen outside of this Jozu. 6 costs, 7,000 power, 1k counter, on play. You may return 1 of your characters other than this character to your hand, and then return up to one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters to their hand. Very strong. But I'm also still not a huge fan of it. I like going down to 2 Red Rocks. I think that's awesome. But I'm not a gigantic fan of the Jozu. It's a 1k counter at the worst, right? At worst, it's a 1k counter or a 6 cost 7k body, which is not bad. But this effect right here, it's the number 1 intent for this target is Sengoku, right? And then bounce back whatever your opponent has that you can. But you could also use it with other cards too. You know, with anything, even like an Edward Weevil to draw cards and whatnot. Like there's some potential there. But everything else we've seen, like I said, guys, they are running the 2 Weevils. They're running 3 of the Bounce Kaidos. Because remember, guys, with your leader effect, Bounce Kaido draws a card. This is only an activate once per turn. But if you bounce 2 characters, you're still going to get to draw 1 card. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't draw 4 cards like this Kaido. But honestly, you know, how much is that needed? Okay. Especially with a leader that literally just draws cards every time you remove a character with one of your effects. I'm just saying. Really good stuff there. Okay, and that's it, guys. That's it for the meta stuff from the West and the East. Let's go ahead and check out the 3 games I got prepared for y'all on the sim. Okay? 3 games, like I said. Let me go full screen. Move my head over here. Let me make sure the volume's off and all that good stuff. It's not. I'm totally unprepared today. And then speed 2x. Okay, the speed was 2x already. All right, here we go, guys. So this first game is going to be Boa versus Green Purple Doffy. Now, I don't know if you noticed what was in my hand before I mulliganed, but I have the 7 cost Borsalino, and I know that was in the title screen as well, or the thumbnail. But guys, I honestly want to start playing Boa Hancock as like a tempo, a tempo removal deck, like a deck that curves out while removing characters along the way. Now, still, the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff early on, they're just too good to not play. That's my personal opinion. They're just simply too good to not play. And that's why we're running the Jinbei plus Dracula Mihawk package. and all the other, early 4-cost 7 Warlord stuff. Now, starting out, like right after that, once you get to your 6 Dawn play, and this deck does want to go second, by the way, guys, but it's not horrible going first. But going second, your follow-up play is Boa Hancock, right? So now it's like, okay, I just shut your whole turn down for the most part. So they hit me with the Beam Sword to tap down my Jinbei. I think they wanted me to keep my Draco Mihawk open, so that way I could, have it not play. I won't be able to play out Boa Hancock, right? Let me pause for a second. The reason they didn't attack into my Mihawk, because that was definitely the better target to attack into, because he has an actual when attacking effect, is they wanted me to attach 1 Dawn to Mihawk and try and get greedy by getting that effect off, because they saw I had 6 Dawn for my turn, and if I use that effect, I'll only have 5 left, and I can't play out my Boa Hancock. Now, at the same time, I could have played around that by swinging for 7 with Mihawk, attaching 2, draw 2, trash 2, and try to get a 4-cost guy into my hand. That would have been another option. Okay, so I go ahead and play out the Boa. I locked down his Uruj. I doubt he was even going to play that card. And then he hits me with the Ragnarok and pops my character. And then he's going to swing for 6 into my 5. I give him both puddings out of hand. Because he's already down to 4 cards in his hand. This is not going to be a game for pudding. Now, I get to my 8 Dawn turn. Beautiful setup here where I can play out this guy. Yeah, so that Borsellino just got rid of his 4-cost character, established an 8K body, drew me a card from my leader effect, and now I'm going to draw 2 trash 2 with my Mihawk effect, and then swing for 5 more with my leader after that. Okay, and I did choose to swing with my a character first there, which would be considered bad sequencing a lot of times, at least. Well, not necessarily, because it was a 6K attack versus 5K, but typically you want to swing with your lowest attacks first and your lowest characters first before you swing with your leader and stuff. That's, because those are more protected usually from triggers in life. Okay, but right here, I'm just going to swing for 6. He does a off-white, which I think is plus 4,000, and it does a top 4 search. A top 4 or top 5 search, I can't remember. Swing for 5. They're down to 2, and I've got a decent board here. Okay, let's see what they play. This is their 8 Dawn turn. Well, actually, excuse me. It would have been their 8 Dawn turn, or excuse me, their 9 Dawn turn, but they were using cards that lowered their Dawn. So they go ahead and pop my 4-cost character with Treble. Treble has an on-play to pop a 4-cost or lower rested character, and then he has a when attacking effect to tap down a 4-cost or lower character. Like when the opponent attacks, you can pay 2 and rest their 4-cost or lower character. Okay, and it does cost 2. All right, so right here, I'm trying to determine how I want to do this. I think playing out the Boa Hancock is just simply too good right here. There's like, I have a perfect 10 Dawn play, right? Where it's like, play out the Boa to lock down Treble and then throw away Baby 5, drawing a card, then play out my Mihawk, or excuse me, my Gecko Moria and get a 2K counter back to hand. So here we go. Just like I said, your Treble can't attack now. I got to draw a card from that. Played out the Gecko Moria, grabbed back a 2K counter. That interaction there is absolutely stellar, guys. The new 6-cost Boa Hancock from OP07 is just incredible, guys. Just incredible. So here we go. I can literally rinse and repeat, do the exact same thing as last time. He's going to leave 2 Dawn open this turn at the end of the turn. I believe, yeah, from his leader effect. So I make sure to swing. You'll see what happens here. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of skipping. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. You do have to play on that around. There it is. Notice what the Treble says. When opponent attacks. Oh, I'm sorry. He hits a 5 or less with his on play. He hits a 5 or less rested character. But when opponent attacks, pay 2. Set up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less as rested. Very, very strong. Okay, so then they're going to swing 5 at me. I kind of like taking this. I know I countered out, but I kind of like taking that there because I'm in such a dominant position. But going down cards in hand is also very important for my leader effect, so I can keep drawing cards. Okay, so right here, I can literally just rinse and repeat. But I'd rather attack first and see what they give me with this blocker. I'll swing for 7. Let's see what they do. Because I can actually just go for a game as well, right? Because they only have 1 blocker. They only have 1 life. I have 4 attacks, and they have 2 Dawn open. So, they could probably stop up to 3 of my attacks. No way they're stopping 4. So we'll swing for 7 here. This should eat up a blocker. Okay, just waiting on my opponent, guys. Just waiting on my opponent here. Okay, and then I'm going to... So right here, I'm like, you know what? Let me just swing for 8 and see what he gives me. He gave me the blocker. Okay, well, now we're going to win the game. Now, say they could counter out of that somehow, or they had, more ways to get out of that, whatever. My follow-up play was going to be play Boa Hancock to lock down Treble and bottom deck another Baby 5 to draw a card. And again, look at my board in that position. They're just in so much trouble, and I have 4 life left. Okay, and that is game. They had a stacked hand, but, here's the thing. That, long story short, that Doflamingo's not winning them the game next turn. Like, I don't know. I guess some people say, would say maybe it could. I just seriously doubt that. All right, next game, guys. We got against Purple Black King. So this is, of course, OP08. But I think my cards are only from OP07. We'll see at the end of the video. Okay, we're on 2x speed. Purple Black King is not bad, but people are still trying to figure it out. It might need some more support too, to be honest. And it looks like this guy's running some type of Straw Hat Crew version, or maybe he's just using that to ramp. Sure, that's fine. He played out the he ramped a Dawn with Zoro there, but I'm not too worried about that. Now watch this, guys. I'll swing 5 into Zoro. They gave me a 2K. 5 more into Zoro, another 2K. 5 more into Zoro, another 2K. Now, I'm just going to lock him down anyway. You thought you were going to keep ramping Dawn, but Boa Hancock says otherwise. Boa Hancock says, no, sir, you know, do not pass go, do not collect $200. For anyone who's played Monopoly, hopefully you got that reference. I'm so old. Do people even play board games anymore like that? But okay, so there's Zoro is locked down. He can't do anything. And honestly, now it doesn't matter because they're on like an 8 Dawn turn. Who cares, right? Like, they're going to get up to 10 Dawn now next turn anyway. Okay, they go ahead and play out a blocker, and look at what I have in hand, guys. I have my hand, like, in this situation is just disgusting. Like, this hand is brutal. Okay, and I'm on my 8 Dawn turn, I believe. So, yep. So, swing 5, swing 6, swing 8. They're going to take it, and now I'm just going to get rid of their Scratch Mana Poo. Like I said, they're on 10 Dawn, so I don't really care about Zoro here. They play out. Now, they do play out, what's his name? Okay, hang on. So they did -1 with their Scratch Mana Poo, I believe. And then they brought down Kuzan, the 10-cost Kuzan, to pop my Boa Hancock. That's why they were able to pop a 6-cost character. Okay, but I'm not too scared about this. I'm in too dominant of a position here, where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep throwing cards back to hand, drawing a card from that, and I'm just going to swing 5, 5, 8. And I'm going to say, figure it out. I'm going to make him figure it out right here. Okay, so here we go. What can he possibly do in this situation to win the game? That's what you have to ask yourself. Even if he plays out a 10-cost Kaido that wipes the entire board. Sorry, guys, I do got to adjust my camera real quick. It's kind of messing with me. That's fine. Even if they play out a 10-cost Kaido here to wipe the board after swinging 5 and 10, I'm just going to load up 15 on my leader, and I'm just going for it next turn. If they have it, they have it. You know what I mean? That's kind of the situation. Or I could even, excuse me, I could even just Boa Hancock after that to lock him down and go for lethal the next turn. So here we go. They did that. Now they are going to gain a life. They're going to give me a life as well. Give me that was crazy. Give me back the 10-cost Kaido from the Linlin effect while gaining a life. That was pretty good. But right here, I'm going to swing for 9, and I'm going to see what they do. If they countered out here, then I would actually have just played out my Boa, like I said, locked him down for another turn and gone for it that way. They tried to get out of it. They did not have enough. Their hand was gassed too. But man, I'm telling you, once you start getting that tempo going with Boa, where you're just busting cards off the board every single turn, it feels pretty good, guys. The deck, it definitely feels different than the original version I was playing that we looked at. Okay, now we got a game versus Dragon. So how does this deck do against the more aggro stuff? You know, unfortunately, I didn't get a game versus Red Purple Law, but let's see how the deck does against aggro. And it's not bad, guys, because remember, we want to counter out early and remove cards early so we can draw cards and save, you know, protect our life total and all that. Okay, so this guy gets a pretty ideal start doing Bello Betty here, but he doesn't have a good turn 2 follow-up, so he kind of just starts mashing into me right here. Watch this. Swing for 7. Looking back, I wish I had just taken this, because it's obvious what he's going to do. He's obviously going to move all of his Dawn over to Bello Betty and swing for 5 more. But guess what, guys? I'm pretty sure I counter out of that as well. Okay. Yeah, we'll counter out of that too. But looking back, I think I should have taken the hit from Dragon and then just countered out of that one very easily. But that's okay. Play out the Jinbei and the Mihawk. I only have 2 cards left in hand. I'm about to be on my 6th Dawn turn, though. And, you know, I'm in a decent spot, to be honest. That might sound crazy, like anyone seeing this game. Like, wait, he's got 6 cards. You know, you have 2, you know. But remember what my leader does, guys. Remember what my leader does. So they did not use the effect there from their, you know, they didn't attach a Dawn to their Zoro, so I'm like, okay. But I ended up taking it anyway. So, all right, so now I'm on my 6th Dawn turn. In this position, I'm just trying to get this Zoro off the board and eat up whatever they can give me from their hand. Okay, so swing 5, and then I'm actually going to use my Mihawk here to swing 7. Hey, Mihawk's been getting some work in, you know, in this video. I trashed 2 of these 0-cost events. I just have too many. I need to start keeping cards in hand. Perfect. Okay, right there was just... that's what it was. I was going to say what I wanted... I don't know. Looking back, I should have absolutely done Jinbei into that Doflamingo, but I think I was saving the Jinbei as a 1k counter in hand. Just so everyone's aware, that was the logic at least. But looking back, I think I should have just established the Jinbei, because I still have the 0 cost card in my hand. Okay, let's see what they do. They only have 4 cards in hand as well. Now, yes, they do have 5 life, but I have 3 characters on the board versus their 1 character, and their 1 character is really nothing special. Okay, well, there we go. There's that 1k counter paying off instantly. They swung 5 into 5. I'm just going to give them a 1k counter here. Okay, right here, they're going to probably try to smash in. Yeah, they're definitely going to try to smash in here. Swing 6 or 7 into 5, and I think I give them the 2k counter here. Now, watch this, guys. What would you do in this situation? Remember, they have not used their leader's effect yet, and I have a 2,000 power Mihawk on the board. Would you block here, or would you block the next one? I'll tell you what I would do, or what I'm going to do, is I'm actually going to 0 cost 3k counter out of this, and I'm going to block with my blocker on the next attack. And then I'm just going to eat the board that way. Keep my Borsalino, because I can eat up his board now. So watch, like I said, he's going to attach 2 over, and just use my blocker, and now I can demolish his entire board, and then I get an absolutely insane top deck, right? Well, excuse me, I did set those there with my Doflamingo, but this card in this situation is actually incredible, right? Because I can just lock down the Koala this turn, bottom decking the 1-cost Bello Betty to draw a card from my Boa, deal with the Sanji on the board, and now I'm in full control of this game. Okay, let's see what happens. And this is the last game today, guys. Sorry, I only had 2. Look at that. I drew 2 Borsalinos. That's fine. I knew they were coming from the Doflamingo. Now I'm going to start getting some new cards here soon, and I think in like 1 or 2 more turns, if the game even goes on that long. So right there, it's like, okay, what I think I should have done there was, I don't know, I guess the Borsalino makes sense too. It's a bigger body, and now I can shut down a character they don't swing with. Okay, sorry. Looking back, I made the right play because oh, now I know why. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I'm dealing with only a little bit of the information that I remember in these games. I did see a dragon that they drew from one of those Bello Bettys. So I know they have a dragon in hand. That's what I'm saving the Boa Hancock for. Okay, it all makes sense now. Okay, swing 5 here. They take it. They're down to 4. Now the game is starting to swing into my favor. I believe this is the turn they play the dragon. And then they're probably going to set up for some type of, you know, OTK on the following turn. Okay, just waiting on my opponent here. But I will say, guys, while we're waiting for him to do, he's probably just going to swing 7 or 9 into my, or what would that be? 7, 8 into my Jinbei or my Mihawk. I will say this, guys, now, the way that I built the deck now with all the removal, it feels way better for me personally. I think the other style of the deck was just not my play style. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm just waiting on them to make a play here. They play out Nami. Yep, that's fine. They're setting up for a lethal next turn, sort of, I think. I think that's the idea, at least. Now, watch this. They choose not to swing with their dragon, which is arguably the right call, because what I would do is smash into their dragon here, you know, and stay at 3 life. But unfortunately for them, I have a Boa Hancock in hand, and that is going to obliterate what they're going to do this turn. So I go swing 6, swing 7, swing 9, and then watch this, guys. This is pretty much the GG, no re, game over. Lock down your dragon, bottom deck your Nami. I draw a card from this. I pretty much can't lose the game right now. I mean, I'm sure it's possible. They go dragon here. If just one of my characters survive, you know, like Boa, it's over. Going 9 there, attach 2 to your dragon now with your leader effect. Get rid of the Borsalino. Well played. That was the best possible choice he could have done there. So right now, I think it's, yeah, I'm going for lethal. Like, I'm not even playing around here. It's just go for lethal. Swing for 11. If you have it, you have it. And now I'm swinging for 12. I'm basically just saying, hey, if you've got it, you win the game. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it is what it is. There was a safer play there. There was definitely a safer play where I just kind of attack into these dragons here. Like, maybe go, let me see. I need 6 left, so I could put 4. I could swing 12 into one of the dragons. And remember, he only had 5 cards in hand. So I could have swung 12 into one of the dragons and then red rocked the other. That would have drawn me a card for the turn, and I would only have to deal with 2 bodies, you know, one body and the leader on the board. Unless I got rid of the first dragon, then it would just be, you know, nothing left to deal with. But I just go for it. I'm like, I don't think you have it. He almost had it. He was 2k off, but yeah, GG. Okay, well, that's it, guys. That's it for the games on the sim. Let's go ahead and check out the deck that I'm running. This is the list I was running in the video. Let me go ahead, you know, for my games. We just never saw this card. I mean, we just never saw this card. I replaced Weevil. I replaced Weevil with Boa Hancock. I want to mess around with Pudding. That doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. That doesn't sound right. Okay, I think this is a card to include into the deck. I will say that right now. I don't know what to take out for 2 of these. Maybe take out one Trafalgar Law and 1 of these Crocodiles and just go up 2 Puddings just to have a little bit of potential there. Because in the late game, guys, this is just like drawing you cards, right? Activate main, return this character to the owner's hand. During your turn, once per turn, you may activate this effect when a character leaves play from one of your abilities. If you have 5 less cards in hand, draw a card. So it should work like that. I did not test it, but it should work just fine like that, guys. And that would take the deck to like the next level. But anyway, back to the deck itself here. Check out what we're doing. I still have some of the 7 Warlords stuff early on. I've got the 2K counter 7 Warlords package is just perfect. You've got your Jinbeis that can throw out your Geckos, Mihawks, Crocodiles, or Trafalgar Laws, or your Doflamingos, or now in this list, Boa Hancock. So it's got some blockers going on, which I do like having some extra blockers. But then once you get to turn 3, right, especially when you went second, turn 4 if you had to go first. Once you get to that 6 Dawn turn or higher, it's like drop Boa, drop Borsalino, drop Mihawk, drop Kaido. You're just blasting through their board. And notice I run 4 of these Gum Rains, guys, because I want to be able to counter out of hand and go low, low, low in my hand size to keep my life total high. And that way I can start drawing cards from these incredible actions on the board like Kaido, Borsalino, and Mihawk. I still run 4 of the Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. I run 3 Puddings. I could probably go down 1 of these. I run 1 Red Rock just in case. That's the just in case card. You never know, right? You just never know. But that's it. I mean, this list is still very similar to what we saw. But I just decided that I want to start running a package that can bounce cards back to hand as soon as possible. Another card that I did consider was Zeph. This guy right here. But he's not as good as like, okay, so early versions of Blue-Black Sakazuki were messing with an idea where you just curve out. You play out the stage on turn 1. Turn 2 was somewhat of a dead turn, whatever. But turn 3, going first, 5 Dawn, right? Boom. Zeph bouncing back a 5 or less. Because remember, your leader attacks to do -1 and your stage could tap to do -1. So Zeph was going to be able to on play, bounce back a 5 or less, and fill up your trash 2 cards. Then the next turn, you were following up with a Borsalino that was going to be able to hit a 6 or less, and then follow up the next turn with a Mihawk that was going to get that could get a 9 or less, right? So it was one of those situations where, again, that was in the very beginnings of Blue-Black Sakazuki before the list had been figured out. That was like the perfect list. But you guys, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Taking this deck in that direction is not as good, though, because Zeph in blue currently, who knows how things are going to be in the future. I doubt they'll ever add what I'm about to say to blue in the future, but there is no cost reduction in blue. Okay, so unless you can mix it with black. So in this list, in the Boa Hancock list, I don't think Zeph is good enough to run. I don't think there's a reason. Like, I can't justify running this card, especially since it also like trashes cards. Like, yeah, I guess that kind of helps Gecko Moria, but it's just not what we're doing, guys. I don't know how to say it. It's just not what we're going for. And it can only bounce back a 3 or less. 4 is the minimum number I want to be able to touch, right? 4 cost is where it's at, right? 4 cost and higher is where it's at. This gets rid of a lot of targets in Red Purple Law, and then you have other cards as well, like, like I said, Draco Mihawk, you've got the Kaidos, you've got the Gravity Blades. So as long as you're hitting anything that's a 4 or greater, that's the range you want to be in. 3 or less is less than ideal. It's fine. Boa's a little bit different, right? Boa's different because her effect is just good, period. And then like bottom decking a 1 or less, that's just added value, right? Especially against a deck like Nami, right? Because when you're bottom decking cards, that's another card they have to draw through now. So that is actually very good. The same thing with all these bottom deck effects, like Borsalino bottom decking stuff, or Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, Mihawk. Anything that bottom decks against Nami is actually very strong because you're making them have to draw through more cards. Okay, well, that's it, guys. I'm pretty much done rambling. Tell me what you guys think of this list. I think I'm onto something here. It's not perfect. It's not finished yet. Had you guys been messing with a similar list? Share your list down in the comment section below, guys. I'm anxious to see what people have been cooking up. But, yeah, that's it. I'm done rambling about this. We got one more thing to do, guys. We got to do the art critique. That's right, the art critique. Notice we got who we got on the screen here. This is from ST17. Speaking of which, let me bring that up one more thing here. They have finally updated this on the official Asian translated English, the English One Piece Eastern website, however you want to say that. They finally updated it where now we have all of the lists from, I don't know why I can't say lists, for, you know, these are the new starter decks coming out. I will be doing a video on these soon, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not as early as tomorrow, but I'll be doing a video on these very soon talking about how these decks are, because I kind of want to wait for the sim to get updated, then I can do some playthrough videos of these new decks and all that good stuff. But those are finally out. Dawn card lists. Okay, I'm not going to mess with that right now. Sorry, guys. I get distracted. I start going on these like rabbit trails or whatever. Okay, the art critique. We got Marshall.D.Teach from ST17. And guys, this is a very scratchy picture, and I absolutely love it. I love the style. You can see by the cape. Notice what we have here. I'm always talking about triangles, right? I'm always talking about triangles. But this time, with this one here, okay, let me go boop boop. It's upside down, right? Because this dude's power level, look what it's doing. It's pulling his cloak up. Do you see the let me put this in make 3D. Okay. I gotta pull it forward some too. There we go. So notice what's going on here. That back foot, like his back right foot, our left, that's like holding him up basically. You know, that's like he's about to launch is what it looks like. I don't know this part in the anime or the manga, so bear with me. But notice he's, you know, this is a very dynamic pose. He is about to do something very powerful. How do we know? Look at his hair, guys. His hair is flying up in the air right here. Look at the cape. The cape is literally floating as well, and he's on the ground. So either someone has attacked him with something, which it doesn't look like that's the case, or he is about to go, you know, forgive my Dragon Ball Z reference, but he's like about to go Super Saiyan, right? That's what it looks like. Hopefully you guys know what I mean. Really, really cool stuff there. Yeah, this piece, when I first saw this, I know a lot of people who watch the anime or read the anime or watch the manga, they're huge fans of certain characters because of whatever the case might be. I was never a huge fan of Blackbeard, but when I see a picture like this, it's like, okay, that is awesome. Even though I'm not a fan of this character, and I don't even really know much about him, you know what I mean? I just think this is incredible. Like this picture here, there is some other stuff going on, some other very subtle things going on. Like, okay, with the way the legs are down here, notice how he's got the ankles like push back here. This is what's adding to the pose, right? To that dynamic stature going, like, or this dynamic pose he's doing. This adds to it. It's showing, like I said, he's about to launch, right? Like you see my head like going towards the screen. He is about to fly towards someone or blast somebody with some kind of special effect. Looks awesome. The arms are out. You can't really see my arms because where my camera is, but his arms are out. That's doing a whole nother thing. Okay, that's doing an entire other thing right here, guys. Let me make 3D. Okay, that's making a whole nother point of reference here. And now we got some crazy stuff going on, right? We got some symbolism going on. I'm just kidding. We're not messing with that. But y'all understand what I'm saying. These shapes are what's giving this piece power. And it looks absolutely incredible. Really good stuff. As far as the color goes, it's meant to be. I've seen other pictures of Marshall.D.Teach or Blackbeard. I know there's more color, but he obviously... I know that... I also know... So, I don't know a lot about One Piece, obviously. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I know a lot about One Piece, just from researching it and stuff, but I don't know as much as other people who watch the show and, like, you know, do deep dives into, like, the actual lore in the actual story. But I know enough about One Piece to know that, you know, his power, or one of his powers, sorry if that was a spoiler warning, is he has the darkness fruit, right? He's got the quake fruit from Whitebeard. He's got the darkness fruit because I think he got it from Thatch. I think he took out Thatch or something like that. And this is meant to be darker here. And notice how there's like smoke. Darkness is just emitting from him. This is a style that I like to use when I make my thumbnails, by the way. Like, let me just give you guys a quick... I'm going to be doing a video on this soon of how I do smoke, like that smoke-like effect in the background. Hang on one second, guys, and I'll set it up for y'all a little bit. Let me go like this. I'll just cut this piece right here. We'll just go like this with it. Okay. This doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to cut the piece in half. Okay, so now we will just go ahead and make like this side... let's make this side red. Whoops. There we go. Now, if I want to make this, you know, into this smoky effect, with an actual paintbrush, it's very easy. But on the computer, you have to kind of mess with it. You kind of have to mess with it a little bit. What I do is I take the actual paintbrush here. I go full thickness on 300 pixels, and I do opacity up to around anywhere between 50 and 60 is where I go with it. And then watch what we'll do here. It won't look like anything at first, but this is how I make my icons. And I will do an entire video on this. Someone did ask if I could do a video on this stuff later, and hey, why not? It's something I enjoy doing. And notice right away now, we have like an entire smoke effect going on. Now, I will say this. This piece does not look like it's digitally enhanced or done. Maybe it is. I don't actually know. I don't know this artist. His name is, he or she, their name is, gosh, I can't even see it, guys. I'm sorry. It's like Hayakin Serena. I think their name is Hayakin Serena. Again, I'm not exactly sure because I don't know who they are. But with this smoke effect they did back here, like this stuff going on back here, it would have probably been even easier to do with the computer. All right, let's kind of mess around with it, right? Since we're already here, let me put this on an even lower opacity so we can, see, this could have been really nice if they had messed with it on the computer, but it looks like they did it with, you know, with some kind of paintbrush maybe, or a marker set. But whatever the case is, they could have done a lot of cool stuff here, and that would have had the effect on the right that I did with the actual just full-on Paint 3D. I don't use, so a lot of people might be laughing, I don't actually use, what's it called? Gosh, Photoshop. I don't use Photoshop. Anytime that I need to use, Photoshop does have a few features that I need every now and then. I use a place called Photopea, something like that. It's a free Photoshop online. I'll link that in the comment section below for those who are interested. But I use Microsoft Paint 3D, which is what you see in the background, and that allows me to do a lot of this stuff. So watch, when I make an image 3D, I can move it around how I want to. And then I also can do things like, let me make this real quick. Like this is how I do a lot of my title stuff. Let me make this black. Actually, I'll make it white just so you can see it better, but I always make mine black. We'll put the opacity at 99, almost at 100, so you can still see through it. Well, actually, with the white you can't. Hang on, let me hit it with the black. The black will fix it here. So notice now you can see through it. Whoops. And since it's a 3D object, then I can move it around all through here. And when I do actually make the video explaining how I make thumbnails, what you're going to see is I work in a 3-step process where I do a background, what you saw back here, right, with the red and black. I'll do a background first. Then I have a middle ground, which is whatever the featured card is for that day. And then I do a foreground, which is where all my font comes in. And I'll even do something like, I'm just going to add it real quick since we're talking about it. I have it over here. Y'all just give me 1 second with the One Piece TCG logo. And this is something you don't have to do, but this is something I choose to do. I'll make it 3D, fit in the logo wherever I want it, like if I wanted it up here or something. And then I also I always put my logo, which is just a VV. This is not going to be filled. We'll put it on a 12 pixel thickness, and then I will drop the opacity down to like 12 as well, make it 3D, and now I can mess around with it, which allows you to do so much. Like I said, I'll try to have a video going over way more detail on stuff like this, because a lot of people, I know there's a lot of content creators who watch my stuff, and I've had people ask me, recently I've had a few people ask me how I do my thumbnails, and this is how I do it. It's with this program. Because see, like I said, now if I need to like push things forward, I can. That doesn't help for much except for things in the midground and the foreground, but then there you go. Like that's how I do it, right? That's kind of the way I go about it. Let me see if you guys can still see okay. All right, that's it for today. Sorry, I got carried away there for a minute. But I do think that this Blackbeard piece looks absolutely incredible. Look, I got to mess around with it at least one more time while everybody's here, right? Let me get like a huge brush here, and I'll just do a quick way to kind of blend it in better. That could have been really cool what they did there and made it even more dark. And then if I had control of this actual image, oh, we might be able to. Hang on. Let me do a magic select. And we might be able to grab the person here, Teach, and push him to the foreground. Let me do add, zoop. We'll grab all this. Perfect, done. Okay, and then we could, now that he's a 3D image, oh, I didn't grab his shoulders though. We could have pushed him forward though. So that's hey, that's what we'll do. Hang on, guys. We got to go all the way back to before I added this stuff. I'm just Control-Zing through all this. We'll do a magic select on, whoops, not that, on this guy, and we'll see if we can bring him to the front. Okay. This is going to be fun. Some people have probably already hopped off. I understand. I accept it. Oh, this will be way better if I can grab this. Okay, we grab all this, and then we'll try to remove what was left. Okay, done. All right, now we'll cut it. Hang on, let me grab the piece. Yeah, cut. Now we will Control Y, or well, I would have to redraw it on there, but that's how I could have gone about making this piece a little bit cooler. Like, let's kind of mess with it now. Now that we got him out of the way, we don't have to worry about it. And see, I can go in the background now and not affect the piece. And that adds so much to these pieces when you can start messing with them digitally. And then you can even layer it like this. Start going down on the brush size. Blah, blah, blah. Not going to do all that right now, but you guys get the idea. You can have a lot of fun with these programs once you figure out how to use them. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I kind of rushed at the end there. We do have to kind of mess with it a little bit more, but we can't just leave it at that, right? There we go. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Let me throw up the Playmat supporter page real quick. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel. There we go. I had to make my head a little smaller there. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel. Anyone who's bought a Playmat. I still have about 50 left. I knew it was going to slow down after the first initial wave of people who are buying it. But thank you guys so much for everyone who supports the channel, especially the people who bought the Playmat and the people who are on the VV Patrons page. Guys, if you're just liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, whatever, just viewing my channel, you're helping me out big time, and I really appreciate you for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, please do not forget to like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please put them in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, peace.